I'm with the Port Commission.
I'm from the Athlete's Foot Family.
Brother, hey, can you get my demo tape to somebody?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to your 2018 Championship Weekend post-game analysis show. I'm the host, the diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual, the Chiseled Adonis. Pardon me. 5 degrees outside right now. I decided to be the nincompoop to come out here and record in the damn stationary car. Am I wearing pants? Absolutely not. Well, I'm wearing shorts. But outside of that, I am not one of those individuals who respect the weather. I remember when I was in college, it was snowstorms darn near every other week. I used to go to class with slippers and shorts on my feet. I may be black, but I don't respect the weather as if I was white. But nonetheless, we talking about what transpired this past championship week. Let's break down the picks first. Unofficially, we are 5-5 on our picks this postseason. Officially, given the video, we are 3-7 because when I did make my changes to the picks, I did not address you guys ahead of time, so I want to keep the integrity going, so that's how I'm going to introduce it. Unofficially, we are 5-5. Officially, we are 3-7. But yeah, you get the point. 5-5 nonetheless. But 0 for 2 on this particular championship weekend. Why? Well, there was a ton of different intricacies on what happened. So let me tell you what happened. We're going to start out with the NFC Championship. The New Orleans Saints hosting the damn Los Angeles Rams, coming on hot. All right. And what happens? The Rams walk away with an overtime W in which Greg Zuerlein Legatron kicks a 57-yard field goal through the uprights. It's good, Cody Parkey. Can you do it? Absolutely not. Put your motherfucking head back down. But let's talk about what transpired. Number one, Todd Gurley was nowhere to be found for the Rams. All right, this man had, 3 or 4 carries, 1 catch, 2 drops, 16 or 13 total yards, and a touchdown, of course, that he got when they got them. Brandon Cooks ended up bringing them down the field, although it was Jared Goff throwing it to him. But, the person who was catching it on the receiving hand of that particular drive was Brandon Cooks. But Todd Gurley found himself into the end zone. But let's talk about what transpired with the Rams first. You start out in a 13-0 hole. I'll give the defense some credit because they held the Saints out of the end zone, although the Saints should have had a touchdown catch from the tight end, but he dropped the ball on the floor. He had some butterfingers, but outside of that, Will Lutz did what he had to do when he put the ball through the uprights. Here's where the issue started for the Rams. Number one, all right, they weren't able to stop, the Saints going down the field because they were methodically going down the field early in the game, and then they tightened up. That defensive line is what ultimately helped out the Rams because the whole first quarter, they were getting beat. They were getting driven back. I don't know what the deal was, but they could not get any penetration. When I saw that, I said, well, we're going to have to see what sort of Saints team shows up because if they keep their foot on the gas, these Rams defensive players, they're about to have a long day. But when that defensive line started to tighten down and you saw Fowler start to get some penetration, you started to see Sue, who was dominant this entire game, get a lot of penetration, and you saw Donald, even though he was double teamed, he would bring some pressure here and there. You said, all right, we gonna have ourselves a game. Now let's talk some numbers. Offensively for the Rams, you had Jared Goff 25 for 40, 297 yards, a touchdown, and an interception. The interception, not his fault. Todd Gurley said simply, what happened to my hands? He couldn't catch the ball into the hands of Demario Davis, and then the Saints added another field goal to their point total. But Jared Goff, very efficient on the day. Made the throws that he had to make. He found Brandon Cooks a good number of times. He connected with Reynolds on 2 different drives in which they were able to go down the field. For the most part, they did their job. That great pass in was it overtime to Robert Woods? No. It wasn't overtime. It was the fourth quarter, their final drive, the catch to Robert Woods. If Woods kept his feet, I honestly believed he could have brought them inside the 20, or hell, if he makes one defender miss, he could have went in to go score, but he had to keep his feet. Unfortunately, he didn't, but I guess it doesn't really matter because Greg Zuerlein put the ball through the uprights. Then Brandon Cooks, as I said, he had 7 catches, 107 yards. He was eating all damn day, and he made sure to leave his nutsack on the ground in New Orleans because they ended up letting him go when he ended up going to New England. And I guess the revenge tour for him, it's not fixing the finish because they playing against New England in the Super Bowl. He may have lost and been put through a table looking like Yamcha after the Cybermen got done with him last year. He's making sure that's not going to be the lasting legacy of Brandon Cooks. So we'll see how things play out. And as I said before, Josh Reynolds, he had 4 catches, 74 yards, and I believe Robert Woods, he had about 60 yards, something like that. I can't remember the catch total because I didn't write that one down. Defensively, as I said, the defensive line, it started to end it with them. They tightened down from the second quarter and kept it going even through overtime. All right, and Ndamukong Suh had a sack and a half, and that man was dominant. When I tell you these last 2 playoff games, man, he came alive, man, because during the season we were wondering, where the hell is Suh? You see Donald getting all these statistics. Now granted, a lot of that could be attributed to Suh because he's getting double teamed and he gets a lot of protection there, and he gets some running back stepping up to help when the guards or the center fails, and then the running back picks it up right there, although they're supposed to be there for blitz pickup. If the opposing team don't blitz, sometimes the running back goes out or they'll stay. Sometimes you saw fullbacks pick up Suh, you saw double teams from the center and also the guard pick up Suh, and you saw one-on-one sort of situation where Donald would thrive, or they would try to double Donald and leave Suh one-on-one. But during the season you didn't see too much production from Suh. Now you're starting to see it, and he's like, man, it's a postseason, I'm coming alive. Everybody want to double Donald like I'm not a perennial all-pro, like I'm not a perennial Pro Bowler. And he went out there and showed the people why, and he was dominant. On top of that, Aaron Donald, although he was getting double teamed all day, his presence was still felt. Only had 2 tackles, but those 2 tackles just so happened to be tackles for loss, and crucial tackles at that. The tackle that he had on Mark Ingram, or I should say Mark Adrian fuck out of here Peterson, Ingram, he had a phenomenal tackle on him in overtime, the play that ended up leading to the Drew Brees interception. So Donald showed up. He didn't get to Brees the way that he wanted to, but his presence was still felt, because that run game for the Saints, they only had 41 yards, I believe, on the day rushing. It was absolutely atrocious. They could not run the ball at all. Then, when we talk about Aqib Talib, as I said, in the very first game, Talib not being there and all the oldness was on Marcus Peters to go out there and try to guard somebody like Michael Thomas, you see how good Talib is. And I've been singing Talib's praises since I was in high school. When he was in Tampa, I was this man's biggest fan. Biggest fan of Aqib Talib. I was fiending for the man to come to Pittsburgh, but it didn't end up playing out the way that I wanted, obviously. But, you know, this man, when he's out there, he blanketed Michael Thomas, and you didn't even feel as if Michael Thomas was on the field. He had those 2 catches in the first quarter. Outside of that, where did you see Thomas? Did you see him? I didn't see him. His booty cheeks was on the screen, and then they had to change the camera angles that they had, and they cut to outside. That was the most we seen of Thomas. I know Michael Sam enjoyed it, but outside that, Michael Thomas was nowhere. Why? Because of the presence of Aqib Talib on the field. More importantly, him being there changes up so much of what they can do, because they now have faith in their secondary. So if they want to blitz, they can. I'm going to talk about that a little bit later with Kansas City, but Aqib Talib, phenomenal job. Phenomenal, masterful performance. And Marcus Peters, he stepped it up. Outside of that 22-yard catch from Michael Thomas, did you see anybody else really beat Marcus Peters on the day? Not like that. He did his job, man. He did his job. Now, we're going to move on to the Saints. Drew Brees, 26 of 40, 249 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Drew Brees did not play his best game. More importantly, when you see the man throw the ball 40 times, you know why? Because the run game's failing. Now, granted, the run game did not go as well. Mark Ingram only had 1 good run. When he picked up that first down, outside that, he didn't really do much. Alvin Kamara had a couple of runs, but for the most part, he was way better coming out of the backfield, in which you saw him catch, 11 catches for 96 yards. The man was killing out of the backfield. It seemed as if there was no answer for him, and I love the fact that they could do that, because when you dump the ball off, let's just be honest, when you're dumping the ball off, it's just a substitute for a run. That's all it is. And they did very good when it came to that. However, pass game, as I said, Michael Thomas, where the hell was he? More importantly, you start to see why they wanted to recruit somebody like a Brandon Marshall, somebody like a Des Bryant, why they need another receiver, because when your number 1 isn't producing, who is Brees throwing to? Who is he throwing to? Tommy Lee Jones? Tommy Lee Lewis? Who? I don't know that man. Who the other receivers? I can't even remember. Oh, Ted Ginn? Oh, 1 catch. Who else he got? Nobody. Nobody else showed up. Nobody else answered the call. Deion Sanders on NFL Primetime, it's always, hey, if you ball, you get the call. Evidently, in the receivers room, nobody's phone is ringing. Nobody's phone is ringing because nobody showed up. Drew Brees was out there trying to look for targets, and there was nobody there. All he had to do was keep trying to dump it back off here and there, and that was it. The tight end dropping the touchdown in the first quarter, the first drive, that was crucial down the line, because hindsight's 2020. But yeah, you know, Drew Brees, not too much help. Kamara out of the backfield, he did his job, but Michael Thomas, 4 catches, 36 yards, atrocious. The defense, for the most part, they did their job. A lot of people will say, well, you know, the defense, they didn't do their job because Rams went down there and they came back. Sorry, listen, you're playing against another high-powered offense. They're going to get points here and there. You held them to 2 touchdowns. You did your goddamn job. Greg Zuerlein making kicks at the wazoo. There's only so much you could do, all right? And then on top of that, let's get to where we have the controversy, because I wanted to build up to this, because we're not going to start with that and then try to break down what happened. That entire sequence, Drew Brees going down the field, Ted Ginn, I got him. Then you throw the ball 2 of 3 plays. What are you doing? Oh, let me try to find Michael Thomas. Why are you throwing the ball? This is the exact same thing Atlanta did in Super Bowl 51. You have a situation where Julio Jones, phenomenal catch. Why are you throwing the ball 2 of the next 3 plays? What are you doing? What are you doing? They only have 2 remaining timeouts. Make them burn their timeouts. What are y'all doing? Because if you run the ball 3 consecutive plays and then it still forces Will Lutz to kick the field goal, they get the ball back with about 39, 40, 50, 41, around that number of seconds left on the clock. You feel much more comfortable. Why are you trying to pass? This is a situation in which play calling will come back to kill you, because you want to say I'm an offensive mastermind, that Kyle Shanahan sort of syndrome that you got going on over there. I can't think of other OCs that screwed them right now because it's not really prevalent in my brain at this current moment. But why would you throw the ball 2 out of 3 times? But the situation in which you did throw the ball, Tommy Lee Lewis, I got you there, buddy. What happens? Rams defender comes flying in. Go! Helmet to helmet. There was about 3 different flags that could have been thrown on that particular play. But the 2 that are very important being the personal foul, the unnecessary rough, and then also the pass interference. The refs don't see it. How? Bird box challenge. I refuse to look. How? Helen Keller University graduates playing in zebra costumes out there and talking about their referees. Ridiculous how you missed that call. A lot of people talk about, well, you know, you should never let the game get down to where the officials decide what transpires. Okay. However, when the officials make a game deciding call in which the entire game, let's just be honest, you give the Saints first and goal. If they go up a touchdown, you're up a 2-possession game at that point. The game's done. Game is pretty much done. Now, granted, miracles can happen, of course, but up until that point, reality looks as if, yeah, the Saints are going to the Super Bowl, but the refs miss it. You got to be kidding me. What are you guys doing? Oh, they wouldn't go up 10. They would have went up 7 because it was tied up at that point. But I mean, what? How do you not throw the flag? And then to come out the day after talk about, well, you know, we acknowledge that we missed the call. You can't do that. You can't. What does that mean? What does that matter now? Oh, they messed up. Yeah, that's great. So are you going to send us tickets to go to Atlanta? Well, if you send us tickets, then we didn't really earn to go. Are you going to replace them? Can we restart the game from that point? Nah. Refs screwed it up, man. They screwed it up. Then what happened? We went into overtime. You know, they made their kick. Somehow Jared Goff was still able to bring his team down the field. Broken tackles on the pass to Everett. Then you set up 48-yard field goal. Greg Zuerlein, Legatron, shows why he's Legatron. Through the uprights. It's good. We going to overtime. Breezes Jesus gets the toss in his favor. You got the ball. Mark Ingram, as I alluded to earlier with Aaron Donald, you just lost the 6 yards. Offensive line fails you. I think it was Fowler that got to Breeze. Ball pop flies into the air. Michael Thomas can't locate it. The defender on the Rams, oh, he did. Interception. You got 1 first down to, I believe, was it Reynolds or was it Everett? It was a 1 first down that the Rams had in OT. Outside of that, they got stopped. 57 yards. Legatron could have made it from 70, in my opinion. Through the uprights, it's good. The Rams going to the Super Bowl. The Saints, 10-point lead, squandered, screwed themselves. Play calling, big issue. It's the same way I felt about Atlanta in the Super Bowl. You had a situation where it's a huge catch to put you in a position to win the game. You're already in field goal range. Strategic football is run that clock, run the ball, and maybe you could catch them off guard, but you're going to throw on first down? Really? Throw on first. Let's run on second. Throw on third. Seems like Scott Lanahan or Lanahan's calling the plays. What's going on over here? Ridiculous. The Saints screwed themselves, and then the rest happened to put on the lube. They threw on a condom and started screwing them as well. That's ridiculous. But the Rams moving on to the Super Bowl. Now let's go to the AFC Championship. What a dandy it was. Where you see Tom Brady go to his 9th Super Bowl appearance along with Bill Belichick. Let's first talk some numbers. Brady, 30 of 46, 348 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. Really should be 3, but D Ford's an idiot. Next, you had Sony Michel on the ground, 29 carries, 113 yards, 2 TDs. Rex Burkhead, 12 carries, 41 yards, 2 TDs. I'll say this. Sony Michel was getting whatever the hell he wanted on the ground. It looked phenomenal when he was running the ball. He, ran some people over here and there. Kansas City Chiefs did not look like they were trying to play what's the word I'm looking for? Physical football at all. In the first half, the Kansas City Chiefs were shut out. So the Patriots defense did their job. Don't tell me, they've been terrible all year, which I believe they have been, but you're forgetting Bill Belichick has that defense excel every time they're in the playoff. That is the greatness of Belichick. More importantly, if we talk about through the air, Julian Edelman, 7 catches, 96 yards. You had Gronk, 6 catches, 79 yards. The guys who had to show up and play, they came to play. Third down, the Patriots were 13 for 19. Never came off the field on third down, no matter what the yardage was. Third and short, we'll convert. Third and long, we'll convert. And that's exactly what happened. But that's just the numbers. But I'll bring up the Kansas City numbers, then we can really break down the game. Patrick Mahomes, 16 for 31, 295 yards, 3 TDs. Damian Williams on the ground, 30 yards and a touchdown. Through the air, 5 catches, 66 yards, 2 TDs. Tyreek Hill had 1 catch for 42 yards. Who would have thought he would have been taking out the game? I did. Because one of them would have to show the hell up. Between him and Kelsey. And guess what? Kelsey, 3 catches, 23 yards and a TD. Did we hear anything else from Kelsey? Absolutely not. Sammy Watkins went off. He was playing. No dreadlocks at all, but he showed up to play. Tyreek Hill, nothing. Travis Kelsey, nothing. Damian Williams, when he got the occasional screen, he made something out of it. But let's start to look at what cost them this game. Defensively, they couldn't stop a soul outside of the first half. You had the Patriots 4th in inches twice. Failed to convert. Both occasions, the Kansas City Chiefs couldn't turn it into points. Both occasions, they had to punt. You had a situation on the 42-yard catch to Tyreek Hill. They were inside the 20. They had to punt from, their 38? How do you go backwards? Mahomes trying to make a play, rolling out of the pocket. He gets sacked for a huge loss. What are you guys doing? Now, let's fast forward to the second half when things started to get a little bit spicy. A little bit of controversy on the hands of the New England Patriots. What happens? Tom Brady with a pass on second down or first down, whatever it was. We got a roughing the passer flag coming in. What? What happened? Let me just touch your shoulder, Brady. It's a flag, 15 yards. What the hell was that? That's not roughing the passer. I thought we got past this, NFL, because after week 8, it appeared that the roughing the passer call was not as, often. We didn't see it as often as we did early in the season. It appeared that most teams did not fail too much from the roughing the pass. And then what happens? Get into the postseason. Now it's a roughing the passer. Ridiculous. Same drive. Chris Hogan, I got you over the middle. Connection. White people connection. For free. What happens? The ball might have just touched the floor. Let's just look at the review. What's going on? We're going to call it a completion. What? I don't think it was a completion. I saw the ball touch the floor. Now, granted, a lot of people talking about, he held a control of it. It moved a little bit at that point. It's kind of hard to determine if it's on the floor. All right, I understand, but I would not have called it a completion. But let him hold, lo and behold, they did. They went down the field. What happens on that exact same drive? 4th and inches. You stopped them twice. Maybe you can stop them again. But for the Patriots, it was 3rd time's a charm. Sony Michel goes walking into the end zone untouched. Defense failed them. Let's talk about some stats real quick when we talk about the defense, because the Kansas City Chiefs was tied with the Pittsburgh Steelers for the most sacks in the league. Did they get Brady on the ground today? No, they didn't sack him. They hit him once. You think you're going to beat the Patriots hitting him once? That's not the blueprint to beat the Patriots. D Ford, what did you do, buddy? Hey, oh, we got a game-winning interception. We're going to the champion. What's that yellow flag doing on the floor? Did somebody from the stands throw a yellow flag? No, it was thrown from the official. Really? What happened? Offsides. Neutral zone infraction. So you're telling me, D4, you can't look at the football and see, oh, my fingers and my body is a little bit too far. What are you doing? Bonehead play. He's going to have to live with that for the entire offseason. The entire offseason. But outside of just him, the defense, they took the ball away from Brady twice. You had stops on 4th and short twice. The offense failed you in the first half, but outside of that, in the second half, the defense could not get off the field on 3rd down. Could not. 13 or 19 on 3rd down. 3rd and long at that point. 3 consecutive in overtime. 3rd and 9. Conversion. 3rd and 10. Conversion. 3rd and 10. Conversion. Archaic cover 2 sort of soft zone defense. More importantly, on the final 3rd down conversion, because the one, there was a pass and completion to Edelman. That was a hell of a catch, hell of a throw. All right, the next catch from Edelman, there's no reason why he should have had that sort of separation. But the catch from Gronk, the safety was standing right there. His eyes are on the back. You don't need no QB spy at that point, man, because the big time player is gonna make the big time plays. So how you gonna sit over here staring at Tom Brady as if there's not a man who's running in your direction? He didn't even look at Gronk. That's a pick waiting to happen. That could have been an interception. Hell, it could have possibly been a pick 6. All he had to do was just look and say, oh, he's running the slate. He's coming to him. The Patriots in overtime, they didn't do anything special. More importantly, throughout the second half of the 4th quarter to overtime, Tom Brady didn't do anything that made you like jump out of your pants and say, whoa, this is unreal. I don't understand. The Chiefs defense, honestly, you, me, your mother, your grandmother, your damn descendants of the great grandfather, anybody in the grave could have came out and completed pass against that Kansas City defense. It was like Madden out there. They weren't even trying to play defense. I wonder who they put their money down on. MyBookie.ag. Use the promo code Chiseled Adonis. They must have bet on the Patriots and won some money because they were not playing defense at all. Absolutely atrocious. I don't understand. I really don't understand. Because they had the game in their hands and they completely gave it away. When Mahomes came and walked them down the field and brought them all the way back, it was like a coming out party for this man and say, yo, I have really arrived. Because the regular season, it was nice and cool, but you got to get it done in the postseason. And Mahomes was getting it done, went down the field on 4 different occasions and put points on the board. And you gonna tell me this defense can't get off the field on 3rd down? Really? Really? And remember, I was telling you guys all season about this Kansas City defense. Bunch of people telling me, well, you know, when they play at home, they hold people under 30. Really? How much points the Patriots scored? 37. Oh, you know, they were one of the better 3rd down defenses in the league. Really? How many times they let the Patriots convert today? This is the same problems. And it stems throughout the season. And it's been the same way for several different years in Kansas City. That defense will fail you. The offense will put points on the board, but the defense will break. Same thing that happened last year against the Titans. The defense simply could not get it done, although the offense did disappear in the second half. I'm not denying that. But that defense, when you need them the most, they ain't going to come up big. They're going to miss tackles. They're going to miss coverage. They're going to leave somebody wide open. And lo and behold, Rex Burkhead going into the end zone. You can't stop the white people in overtime because they're the only person who moved the chains. Let me hit Hogan, moving for a 1st down. Let me hit Edelman, moving for a 1st down. Let me hit Gronk, moving for a 1st down. Let me give it to Burkhead, into the end zone, game done. Chiefs ought to be ashamed of themselves because they let the game go through their hands. After starting slow to come back the way that they did and just lose like that, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. But congratulations to the New England Patriots. Congratulations to the Los Angeles Rams. And on Sunday, 2 weeks from now, it will be 17 years to the day when the St. Louis Rams played against the New England Patriots in Super Bowl 36. So we're going to see another rematch for a 2nd consecutive year. I am upset I didn't get to see, Patrick Mahomes take on Drew Brees, or hell, even see Drew Brees take on Tom Brady, or maybe even see Mahomes take on Goff. But we got to see, Goff take on Brady. And it's going to be a hell of a story to see what's going to transpire. Right now, I can't give you a pick to who I believe is going to win because obviously it's a 2-week span. We have to figure out what the health of Todd Gurley's going to be in 2 weeks to see if he's going to be the same Gurley who was on the sideline today versus a Todd Gurley earlier in the season who looked like this motherfucker was about to have 2,000 yards and 38 touchdowns. So we got to see what the deal's going to be. Because watching that NFC Championship, watching Todd Gurley on the sideline, standing there having to cheer for his team, reminded me a lot of, Le'Veon Bell in the AFC Championship 2 years ago. Reminded me a lot of LaDainian Tomlinson in the 2007 AFC Championship 11 years ago. So we're going to have to see what Todd Gurley's availability is going to be. Or I should say what his health is going to be, because I'd highly doubt he's not going to play. But this particular game, defense and bonehead, like both these teams, both the Chiefs, both the Saints, they screwed themselves out of a W. Granted, there's other things, other intricacies that happen. Two different situations in which the ref, made some calls that I wouldn't have agreed with. That roughing the passer against the Kansas City was absolutely egregious. But then at the same time, they got a couple of pass interference, penalties that went in their favor. So that kind of cancels it out. But in the Saints' favor, there was a missed face mask on Jared Goff. I personally, it looked as if it could have been, if you remember back in the day when they had the 5-yard face mask, that's what it would have been. More importantly, it wasn't as if it was a hit and twist completely. His helmet moved a little bit and he still went where he went. It didn't alter his location, so I understand the non-throw, but that non-flag on the pass interference, illegal, helmet to help, come on, man. Come on. Absolutely atrocious. For the second year in a row, the Saints got straight heartbreak in their soul. But is it gonna matter now? Did it change the fact that the referees came out and said anything? Is it gonna send the Saints to the Super Bowl? Absolutely not. But that's been my coverage, man. It is ridiculously cold in here, and I don't even really get cold like that. Like, I feel as if my skin has starting to what they call it? Goosebumps. This is ridiculous. I mean, I wasn't even ashy when I came in here. The lotion done dried up. But I'm gonna go back into my crib. Stay tuned, or I shouldn't really say stay tuned for the commentary, because this is going to be uploaded right after the commentary. So this has been your 2018 championship weekend post-game analysis show. We have 2 remaining games left on the commentary series, and actually 3, because we got to do all the skills challenge and everything else. But I have been the host of the show, the diligent, vigilant, meticulous, sagacious, conscientious, analytical, methodical individual, the Chiseled Adonis. This was a good day for football, but a bad day for officials. But nonetheless, I am signing out. You guys stay warm on this Monday evening right now, because I think this is going to be uploaded at 6. So at this point, it'll probably be 6:20 something, 6:30. So yeah, stay warm. Don't get a cold.